All right, everyone, we are starting. I am actually waiting for a guest speaker, and our other guest speaker, Sherry, will be joining us half past the hour. So she has double booked meetings. And what we decided to do is for me to go ahead and introduce you to Scoop first and a couple of great features for that. And so, what I'm going to do is just hold off for a little bit and actually see if the chat works here. So if you're there, uh,
Hello.
hey Tammy,
Sorry about that. My computer decided it needed to reboot everything.
it happens. I just turned it on and we're live right now,
Cool.
and I let everyone know that Tammy, I mean not Tammy, Sherry, you're Tammy.
I'm
Sherry
Tammy.
will, yeah, Sherry will be on board in about 2:30. I just got a note for her. She double confirmed and everything. But I want to briefly talk about why we're having this event today. And so the first thing is I want to create a series of events that to show off some really cool software, usually business or productive type software. And as you know, Tammy, I don't know if everyone else knows that I'm the inventor of Scoop, and we produce that to help with sales and to help with personalization. So we know that there is a ton of tools out there that does a bunch of automation and AI, and we all use AI, but they lack most of the time they lack personalization. And in order to do sales, you need to know, like, and trust someone. And so we wanted to showcase these softwares and see what you can do with those in order to increase sales and build better relationships. So, first off, if anyone wants to tell us where they're from, feel free to put it in the chat. And I'm not sure if this chat thing is working, but feel free. I'm in Las Vegas, so I've been here about a year. I'm originally from Atlanta. I loved Atlanta. Vegas is interesting. It's a little hotter than I like. So, and I said, what do people do? What do people do here? They stay inside until nighttime comes. You know what happens at nighttime for me, Tammy?
Yeah, you have a daughter.
Yeah, I go to sleep. so, so I'm not out there partying and everything. And the only reason I moved to Las Vegas, although it's a great city, it's just a little hot for my taste. But I moved closer to family to reduce my expenses so I can make my dreams come true. And so a lot of times you have to make sacrifices, not just for you, but for the family and that sort of thing. And I wanted to lower my expenses so I can spend time on developing Scoop. And we had this idea years ago, where we knew that video converted better, but we didn't know the exact format and things like that. And so I took time to create that, and we knocked it out, and we got 500 users, and now we're just expanding and stuff. So Tammy, tell us a little bit about you and where you're from, and
Yeah,
again, if anyone wants to put in the chat and say hi, let me know you're there.
I,
Um,
I don't know that messages are working though. I have a funny message on my end. But anyway.
oh, okay. So we can't see the messages. So what I will do as you're talking is I'll open up a LinkedIn because sometimes it just doesn't work. And
Yep.
I'll open up LinkedIn and I'll see the messages on the other side.
So I'm
Um,
from Minnesota and everybody says it's too cold. What do you do up there? And it's the same thing. We stay inside where it's warm. So up here in the winter anyway, you have heat, your furnace, and then you have a garage, and then you have a remote start on your car. So by the time you got to your car, it's warm. And then we have skyways. And so unless you are a snowmobiler or a skier, or other people that really enjoy the snow, people stay inside. And then in the summer, when it gets really hot, like it's been in the 90s here, then we stay inside with the air conditioning.
wow, that's one good thing about Atlanta, and everyone has this, pluses and minuses. Um, Atlanta actually has 4 seasons.
Hmm.
If you want to go to have Christmas at 70 degrees, you go to places like Costa Rica or somewhere where it's the temperature kind of stay. The only seasons they really have is like the rainy seasons. And some people like it in New York. I don't know. You quote cold dwellers. I don't understand how that works.
Because you have gorgeous, gorgeous springs and beginning of the summer and late summer and fall. And
Mhm.
lately, our winters only lasted for a couple of months,
Oh,
honestly.
okay.
I mean, everything has changed. It used to be like it lasted forever. And now we just don't get that cold. We get warmer than we've ever gotten.
I think that is like global change type
Yep.
stuff that's happening really quickly.
Mhm.
A lot of that stuff is supposed to happen over years, and it seems like over hundreds and thousands of years, and now it's like happening within 20 years. So,
Yeah, people are going to want to live up here. It's going to be a garden state pretty soon.
oh yeah, yeah. You know, above California is what was the state above California?
Nevada,
Um, no, Nevada's to the right of it.
Arizona.
Washington.
Oh, you mean Oregon and
So
Washington up the
yeah,
coast?
yeah, Oregon and Washington. So and Oregon has Portland, right?
Yeah.
It is, and they have noticed a lot of changes in the
Yep.
weather. You know, where it used to be
Yep.
the rainy, and now you know, when I lived in Chicago about I want to say 15 years ago, I stayed there for about a year, and for me it was really rough
Yeah.
because my car would be moved and stolen all the time, and it wasn't stolen, it was tow trucks just take it. And I didn't know like this was street sweeping day because the signs are ripped off and the car's gone and you got to pick it up for, and parking was $50. And so most people just use the subway exclusively. And I had a car and I had to park literally three city blocks. Chicago city block's huge
Yeah.
compared to Atlanta. So you think Atlanta's, oh yeah, you have 12 million people there right in the city and all that stuff in Atlanta. Uh, it's about a third, it seems from the building size, a third the size of Chicago. And then Chicago is probably a third of the size of New York as far as the buildings and
Yeah.
density and all that stuff. And so I really didn't have a great time here.
Doesn't sound like it.
It was so cold. I had to take a double decker train to inside town, and then I had to take another train, like local, and then I had to walk. I think it was 4 city blocks to get to the building, and the people there on Fridays they would go out drink. Oh no, on Sunday night they would go out drinking. Well, they will probably have the whole weekend. I don't know, and they would go out and have fun, and their day started at midnight, and then they would show up in the morning. I'm like, how the heck can you even live that way? They're
Well, they
really
were funny.
heavy drinkers, so I
So we're
couldn't
going
keep
to talk
up.
about soup, not about weather.
All right, so we have I'll tell a little bit about what we have going on. And Sherry's a great person. She just texted me, and I'll talk a little bit about her. These are our profiles. Feel free to take a look at us on LinkedIn, and connect with us. We're always open for the conversation. Now, I'll go through Sherry's stuff first and maybe re-mention her. She's the creator of a software called Fix My Email. And it's an AI tool that rewrites your underperforming emails and helps with the buyer's psychology. And that's really important. It's not just things like grammar rules or how you say, it's like, what is the user thinking at a particular point in time? And so she used to work for HubSpot. She's helped a lot of B2B brands, and her focus is, decoding on real buyers. How do you think? How do you use the market, and how do you move the needle in order to get to the next step? Of course, we're talking about two things. How do we build that relationship quicker and in a more authentic way, and then how does relationships convert into partnerships or sales or whatever your methods are. And that's a
Mhm.
little bit about her, and I'll let her talk on the second half hour when she jumps on. Now, a little bit about me. I'm a mixed bag of nuts. So I've lived almost everywhere around the world. I'm a little older than I look. People think I'm 30. I'm actually 53 this month. And I've had highs and lows. I had an IT background. I had a gamification company. I built 1,000 projects for Fortune 500 to startups, and you name it, from Coca-Cola to Xbox. Did Harry Potter games. There's movie releases, Dasani, and really cool stuff that we did there. I was really happy at a certain point. I'm also a single father. These are my daughters there. I have two grown boys. I was in the United States Army, most of the time reserves, and I'm a hustler. I had a hard time keeping a job just because I don't want to say I don't have a personality, but I'm very direct. I think it's genetically. And so over the years, I softened that approach. But I found out a lot of people don't like that directness, and they get scared of that because they communicate in little tones and things like that. And so I always had a hard time lying or playing along with the agency game, which was not my advantage. So I'm a great boss, hyperactive entrepreneur. I was a terrible employee. So that's a little bit about me. And I actually built, I don't know, move this along here. I actually built Scoop, and that's what we're going to talk about. And I want you to chime in, Tammy, on how that relates to building relationships. And first of all, I want to thank everyone. And Lisa, if you can, feel free to drop my booking link in there, and also the free 60-day for Scoop. I have 10 licenses open for 60 days. It will ask for your card, but it will, with the code, it will not charge you. You can cancel before 60 days. It's just how the system works. And so, Lisa, if you can do that, great. If not, I'll put it in afterwards. But we only have 10 licenses out there. And so Scoop is a brainchild of a previous product. And we noticed a couple of things. Well, most people are using things like automation. And you see that, and people don't respond to it. So put a 1 in the chat if you ever send DMs and they don't respond, and it gets really bad. I know I've seen that, and I had a very low conversion rate. And I was I wouldn't say depressed, but I was confused. I'm like, hey, you connected with me. And a couple days later, I said, hey, thanks for connecting. I see you do, whatever it is that you're doing, always open for a conversation, right? I'm not selling anything, but they don't even, I'm sure they look at it, or there's at least a 50% chance of them looking at it, but they don't even respond. And personally, and this is my personal opinion, and my personal opinion doesn't count, but I think that a lot of people have low integrity. Tammy, have you ever texted someone and they got the text, but they didn't reply? I'm like, and so the mentality of a lot of people is, unless you can drive enough interest for them to reply, they're not going to do it.
People are overwhelmed these days. And I mean, everybody's email, text. I was a personal story. A friend of mine and I were talking, making plans, and the conversation shifted between email, text, messenger, and voicemail. I was like, I can't even keep up with what we're planning. We're planning on 4 different platforms with pieces of this conversation.
Of one conversation?
This is one conversation. It shifted amongst 4 different platforms. And yeah, I have a crazy friend. But anyway, the point of all of this is that there's too many, there are too many places to check. If you're looking for someone to respond to you, you'd think they would respond on the same platform that you started with. It doesn't always work that way. This friend of mine goes between text and messenger all the time, and I have trouble keeping up even just with that. They have to keep checking different places to see if there's a response. And I think that this is not that uncommon in business as well. I have people that connect with me on LinkedIn and then suddenly pop up in my email, or pop up over here, or leave me a comment or something on a post, and think that they'll tie it all together. And that's part of the problem, is the overwhelm out there.
I would, speaking of that, I can talk about the sales funnel. there used to be a sales funnel that you started on the top and you went
Mhm.
your way down. In the middle of the funnel, it has certain decision trees that allow you to move forward.
Right.
Well, there's no such thing as a sales funnel anymore. I mean,
No,
not in
there
that
are
way.
all kinds of them.
The middle is what we call messy. No,
Yeah,
it's messy in the middle.
it
And
is.
the term messy means they can, when they're trying to be a buyer or, the buyer's journey, they may see you in social. They may see you on LinkedIn. They may see you a post, that sort of thing. And so those different medias are where they hang out, and where they hang out, you can definitely they can definitely reply, and then that helps the buying decision. I haven't heard what you're talking about, where you responded on text, you didn't reply back on text.
It doesn't always work that way. I mean, and this is part of the problem too with LinkedIn, because I'll have a conversation going in the DMs, and if it's someone that I know, again, I mean, if it's just cold and we're just getting to know each other, that's one thing. But even on LinkedIn, I have a DM box, and then I have a sales navigator box as
Hmm.
well. So I have a couple of different places to check there. And then if it's someone that I've talked to, yeah, because I sent them some information, then all of a sudden they may decide to respond to the place where I sent them information, which is either email or text. And now we're off of the DMs.
Yeah, I tend to move from one to the other, but only in established segments.
Yeah,
So if
see,
we're
I don't always do that. And so
oh
I mean, I usually do, but someone will say, send me some information. Here's my number, send it via text. Or
yeah,
we'll
yeah,
have an
you
appointment, and then they have my email because we had an appointment. And so then they send me an email.
hmm
There's a lot of overwhelm out there, and there's a lot of too much coming at them. So you have Scoop. You are helping with the DMs with making them personal, which is phenomenal.
oh yes, yes. Speaking of Scoop, we get off the conversation on
Yeah,
Scoop.
no,
Yeah,
I
we're
know.
talking about Scoop. So Scoop, it doesn't just work on LinkedIn. Okay,
Yeah.
so we made it for LinkedIn first. So let's think about, where do you make money on LinkedIn? Like, let's just get down to the brass tacks.
Mhm,
So number one, you make money on conversations on the DMs.
mhm,
The DMs work on a number of different ways, from events to the comments to, once you create an event, it creates a post and stuff like that, and everything. So it's really the posts or the content creation. Even if you get a newsletter, LinkedIn newsletter, it's a post. So
right,
anything that you post and anything on the DMs include emails, first level connections, second level connections, you name it.
right.
And so, uh, hey, Sherry,
Hi, how's everything going? How are you guys? Super
good.
excited. Talking about Scoop. Keep it going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we'll just talk about it for the first half hour, and we're talking about communication platforms, how the sales funnel gets messy in the middle, and you have to have the ability to move from channel to channel, right? And so I explained that Scoop is not just LinkedIn, but we designed it LinkedIn first. The two areas on LinkedIn is content and DMs. That's where all the money's being made. So it starts from there, and then it goes off to text, it goes off to email, it goes
Mhm.
off to your Zoom meetings and that sort of thing. And so we wanted to create a tool that covered the money making portion
Mhm.
of what you can do on LinkedIn. Then we integrated into all the other platforms: Gmail, 365, Outlook, Instagram,
Yeah.
Reddit, X, and everything else. Now it's can incorporate into CRMs and a bunch of stuff. But the main point is that people want to connect with real people.
Mhm.
And so there's three features in Scoop, and I'll get into it in a video. I have a little video because I can't do a video demo while I'm doing this restream, because it uses the video, and they may fight. And
Yeah.
so
Um,
I did a video like 30 minutes ago, right before the event, and I'll put it
mhm.
up. But Scoop does three things really well. It allows you to do instant text and video for communications. The second thing, it allows to do content creation. We just added AI clone, where it clones that person's tone as well as their knowledge, which is really important. And yeah, and I'll show that to you in a little bit. And the third thing is it has a CRM. And 50% of your business is lost because you don't follow up properly. At
Always.
least 50%. And I think you mentioned a little bit when we're talking that an older lead is not necessarily a dead lead. And you have some stats on that. And that all goes in effect. So we built Scoop having that in mind so you can talk to one person and move to the other. You could use things like Loom and stuff like that, but they're not really designed for business. They're not designed to move from place to place. They're not designed to reduce your time and increase your productivity. Let me see. Let's see here. And just a little lagging here. All right, so I want to get to 6. Okay, so Lisa has already dropped this in. I have 10 licenses open for anyone that sees this. And what they need to do is go to Scoop, click the trial. When you get started, add this code. The code is in the chat already. It will ask for a credit card, but it will not charge you for 60 days. That's just how the system works. But I have 10 licenses for that. And I may mention it at the end, or I'll add to the chat. So feel free to ask any questions that you have on there. So we'll go through the demo real quick, and I'll go ahead and add the video. Let's see here. Hey everyone, I just realized this morning that I can't do a demo on the live because live is actually using the same camera I would use to use the demo because Scoop uses the camera. So let me go through Scoop quite quickly to give you an idea of why it's important. So in general, Scoop is a sales and relationship building tool. People want to work with people they know, like, and trust. And if you take the time to look at their profile, talk about them, and actually develop a video, people appreciate that, and that shortens the length of the relationship in order to convert that into a deeper relationship or sales or whatever your objectives are. And so Scoop does that in 3 ways. And so let me just show you the interface. This is Scoop right here. It's a little tab, and it has a lot of little features in it. I'm not going through all the features, but what I will do is show you the interface quite quickly. And right here, we have the ability to have some helper videos. We have tutorial screens. We have a dashboard and all that stuff, and we'll get to that in a minute. But the main areas is the ability to send an instant message. And what we want to do is send a little bit of text, a little video, which is about 30 seconds long, and then send a title and the title of that video. By doing that at sandwich method, what you end up doing is increasing and converting the possibility of them replying to you. For me, it was 6-fold. I went from 3% to 20% conversion to a vetted book meeting by doing that. Now, there's some other factors in there that I won't get into, but feel free to ask in the comments and I'll go ahead and reply. But let's say, for example, you connected with some people and you want to do a welcome message, right? And so you go through your connections and see who's connected a day old. Let's just pick Alan here, right? And you open him up, and I have one tab here, and that's why works well on the computer. I can scan this, say he's an innovator technologist, Army veteran, right? And so I'll open up Scoop. There you go. And here there's a message. I already have these messages pre-built because 80% of the messages to reply are already predetermined. So if someone reaches out to you, a welcome message is appropriate, right? So here's a welcome message. If there are multiple tabs here, it would show up multiple people. You can pick it, but I'll just pick Alan since I just want to message him, right? As a first name, a tag, it'll fill that in. It says, it's been great to connect and made welcome. So I want to do something a little different. So I want to make minor edits. And I'm talking through this and it's taking a little longer. If I didn't have to talk through it, I would have got done everything within a minute and a half, 2 minutes at the most. I'm able to scan this information. We say, hey, Alan, I'll just say interesting. I was also in the Army, in the U.S. Army. Yeah. Um, glad to be connected, right? And I just want to talk about him. I just want these 3 lines on it. That's really all I want. And that way, it's just enough for context. It's welcoming them, and that's it. I'm not trying to put a lot of information. And what I do is I do a welcome video just to show. Hey, Alan, I want to say thank you for connecting with me here on LinkedIn. I really appreciate it. I know that you are in technology and an innovator. I'm also in technology. Matter of fact, I built this software here. I was also in the Army, and my brother retired from the Army. My father is Filipino, so he retired from the Navy. Not sure how I can help you. I tend to build multi-channel systems for sales and things like that, but I'm not saying you need any of that. But Alan, I do have a good network. So I'll tell you what, if you have time, and only if you have time, feel free to take a quick look at my LinkedIn profile. If you see any dots to connect there, feel free to send me your booking link, and I will schedule on your calendar. I'm always open for a conversation. All right. Thanks a lot, Alan, and have a great day.
It's such a great pattern interrupter because everybody gets text. People don't get an actual personal thing like that. Even if you're personalizing, if you're typing out, you're welcome to people in text, it's still text. So this is obvious. I mean, this is you talking. And so that makes people feel really special and introduces them to you and how you interact and how you speak.
I got a message back today on LinkedIn, and they said, you know what? I really appreciate an actual video and not an AI generated video.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you are taking the time to get to know me. I should have brought it up. I should take a screen capture and put it on there. But I just got that today. And so the people that are paying attention and they see that, they're more likely to be the people that you would do business with anyway. And if people aren't using LinkedIn as a business tool, then you need to use another channel like email or whatever it is. And then you can easily jump from email to LinkedIn and stuff like that. And here I'll just kind of fast forward this. If you want this video, just type in video and I'll send it to you in a DM. It really breaks it down. But in short, what we're doing is 3 lines of text, short video, and then we name the video with the person's name on it. That way you have context, content, then context. And that is a sandwich. So the video is really the content. No one reads a lot. So if it's more than 3 lines, a LinkedIn is not an email. A LinkedIn is like a text that had a baby with an email. It's kind of in between, So if you have if you have a novel on LinkedIn, I don't know about you, that makes me mad. That's like you sent me a whole novel on a text application. So
everybody's different again, Troy. I mean, here that makes me mad, and that is why you developed Scoop. Other people like to get novels so that they get to know the person better, but a video is a good thing in order to do that. What you're doing,
there is an 80-20 rule now.
Well, but you're also finding the people that are going to resonate with you. If they wouldn't like a novel and you send them a novel, they're not going to work with you anyway. So it's another way of just making certain that you're talking to the right people that you're going to resonate with.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've heard that 80% of the people like short video and 20% of people hate it.
Yeah.
They like text, Yeah. I met both that want to read stuff. I'm like, how much time do you have in a day?
Depends on how fast you read, Troy.
No, but if you do a 30-second video, you can get a lot more feelings. They know what you're saying versus like me personally, if I don't like long text, like for example, in my past in relationship, I would break up with the girl because she's texting too much. I get so angry. I'm just like, can you just call me? Because I don't understand the tone and tense of I don't understand what you're saying half the time. Like, what does this mean?
I
This
thought
is
that
not
was
what you say.
all
I'm literal.
anybody about text anyway. We only have a half an hour, Troy. Come
Got
on.
it. Got it. So right here, if you'll see it, it'll have 3 lines of text, a video. They click on it, and what will happen is it'll end up showing up on this, and it will have a booking link. So I'll pass this up, and you have a bunch of other features in there, like you can change how the video format is. You can have a background. You can blur the background. You replace it. Besides videos, you can do a voice memo. You can do an animated GIF. Not everything is about video. It's about communication. So sometimes an animated GIF is appropriate because it expresses an idea. So longer is not always better. Shorter is usually better. People absorb information in short periods of time. The other part is content creation. So what we recently did was we were able to suck up all the information from your LinkedIn profile, run a disk over it, and then compare it on who you are, what you like, what you don't like, and it absorbs a lot of your content. And this is an example of a usage for that, because content from most AIs really suck. They know it's from an AI and it's general information, and then you have to reformat. Wouldn't it be great to write in your own voice, and then you just can format it, And so this
I
is what
want
this
to
does
create
right here.
a post, and it will actually scan your information. It'll scan your personality built in the Scoop and allow you to create content. And let's go ahead and figure out. Let's talk about this right here. And it will develop content that sounds like you. This actually pulled information from, it talks about the 3 to 21% I just mentioned, and you can then format it. And it again, if you go through it, it sounds very human.
So
and
we're running short on time. I'll skip through this, but you get the gist of it. And then this is an example of the information it's pulling, and I was just showing that it drives all the information from my profile, my content, and that sort of thing. Scoop can also allow you to reply to comments. It can reply to DMs. It can reply to emails. It can help you formulate that. Now, we're improving this all the time, but a lot of times you're at a comment and you want to engage. It's like, I don't know what the heck to say. And you want to engage with them. This gives you the opportunity to do that, and it can formulate some of the ideas for you. You can even write a prompt and click the prompt to do that, and then it will reflect the right information. What if you want to drop a video in here or a GIF in here? You can also do that in the comments. So this is very powerful. It works the same way on email, as DMs, as replies, and that sort of thing. The last thing is where most people lose half of their customers is on the reply. Now, a lot of people have CRMs, so I'm not suggesting this to replace it, but most of you guys and gals have absolutely nothing. And so we built this. It has a sales channel where a sales pipeline, we can move from place to place. It can absorb information from a LinkedIn profile and bring it into that, and you can assign a task for it. So that's what Scoop is all about. I'll go ahead. If you want a copy of this video again, I'll just send you a link on your DM. Just type in video in the chat, and I'll make sure that I'll send that to you. So I don't want to go on too much with this. I'll go ahead and cut this out and add, let's see here. I'm going to remove this, and then I'm going to add the presentation again. And I'm going to get to you, Sherry. And so thank you.
Well, I love Scoop though. Scoop is amazing. And my big question is, how do people get started with it? And what's the first step? So what's the first thing that they should do when they get Scoop, to get their hands on Scoop? Because there's a lot of different functions and functionality, but what's like the first thing you would suggest?
That's a great question. Once you register and get Scoop, you will get emails. And so what we wanted to do is get people to use it right away. And we give tips one day on each email. Once you open up Scoop, and I have it right here. You can't see them. You can't see on the screen because it's on my screen. But once you open up Scoop and default, it has the two most important tutorials: how to generate a reusable message and how to create a video. And it actually allows you to click through the application step by step on how to do that. So the best thing you can do is start using it. So I would say, what's my daily process? How can I easily use this? What's the most effective way of actually producing money? And one way is, hey, if I have a series of messages going out, maybe I should have a gap of time before I connect and send them a message. During that gap of time, I could create a welcome video. So I'll do my welcome. I click the welcome message and I create a welcome video. And again, I mentioned it in the video, but I moved from 3% to 21% conversion rate to a vetted book meeting. Now, if you have a high ticket offer, which most B2Bs do, or a high value relationship you're trying to do, that's really important. I was only getting 3% of answers replying and vetted book. That's very low. And moving that 3% to 21%, that's a 6 times conversion rate. Well, how many deals do you really need per month to close? And so you're increasing that ability on that one message. And then of course you can have your follow-up messages happen afterwards. So that's what I would suggest on that. Tammy's
That's
so
awesome.
quiet.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to let you have the spotlight and Sherry have the spotlight today, because that's what this is all about.
Yeah, and I mentioned you already, but I'll go through this again. My esteemed guest speaker here that's showing off her software, Sherry Otto. She's the creator of Fix My Email, and it is an AI tool, and I'd love to know a little bit more about the AI parts of it, but it works with the buyer's psychology. So it's not just improving the email and grammar-wise, it's actually moving on aspects of how that buyer thinks and how they'll be more receptive of a message coming in. And again, what was the term you used, Sherry? The magic in the follow-up.
The fortune. The fortune is in the follow-up.
Is in the follow-up.
Yes.
It always is. There's no question about that.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's what email's all about.
I think that's absolutely right, Tammy. Email is about following up, connecting. And it's funny because when you look at the data, most sales folks, go-to-market teams, organizations who are in that space, they don't follow up, but that's where we understand where the conversions happen. If you just do that second or third effort, most people will fail off. So there's another quote, I think Paula Abdul said that. They said that there's less traffic after the extra mile. So if you just take that one extra step, you're going to have less. Yeah, Paula Abdul. And then
she's a singer from the 80s, right?
Yeah.
With the big hair.
She said that. And then she used to be American Idol judge as well and all that. And then an influencer and a life coach, Brendan Bouchard, he adopted that quote. But it's so true. There's less traffic after the extra mile, and if you could just follow up in a way that feels human and connected, and the way that really aligns with how people make decisions and how people are influenced from the emotional side of the brain. Like, how many of us know that people make decisions based on emotion and then later justify with logic? So if we're thinking about tools today and how we create tools to help connect with our audience, and usually AI is something that is very generic. There's a generic output unless you're careful. It's very cookie cutter. That's why when you see, how many of us can see and spot an AI generated message from a mile away? Yes. We all can. And so we're trying to use it well. I love how you're using it in Scoop, Troy. Like, you're taking brand voice, right? You're trying to make it tailored. That's the same thing that we're doing on Fix My Email. We are creating a way that understands human psychology. We're digging in. I dug into the data. At my time at HubSpot, I studied behavioral science really, really deeply. And I began at HubSpot to test proven experiments. I was on the experimentation council, overseeing and supporting 100 marketers in one of the largest global tech companies, HubSpot. We tried and tested so many experiments, and we found some of the tools and the keys that worked from a behavioral science perspective. And I wanted to start to compile that, Tammy, and I wanted to make sure that other people can use these techniques, not just me, and not just winning campaigns that I'm using currently where I am with my clients, but we can actually do this at scale, and it's super easy. So we're building a tool called Fix My Email. We're almost ready to launch it. So I feel honored that I'm able to start to share some of these messages with you on this platform today here on LinkedIn.
Well, you're absolutely right, Sherry. I believe it's like 80% of the decision if they'll work with you or not is simply if they like you.
Oh, yeah.
It's how they feel, which is crazy, right? It's just,
no, it's how human beings go into a store and you go shopping. If you walk in a store and the sales associate there is mean to you, all of a sudden all of the merchandise in the store doesn't look as appealing. But if they're kind and helpful, all of a sudden everything looks better than it did when you first walked in.
100%. I love that. It's so true. And honestly, you either accept that fact and use it, or you don't. But that's where, if you want to grow your business, you want to increase conversions, you want to sell more, and you want to connect more, you're going to have to align how you're doing your marketing according to becoming known, like, and trust. And that's why I love video. And we talked about that. Like, video accelerates the lead nurture process. You shared about that already. And then email allows us to connect personally. So if someone gets an email and it says, and you start to think, oh my goodness, are you inside my head? I was just thinking that, or this is something I've been thinking about for a while, but I don't have the words to articulate that. So that's the emotion that's coming through that we're building out currently today. And it's so exciting. I've gotten great feedback. Even today, someone said, oh my goodness, I have been using so many different apps, ChatGPT, all these things, but oh my gosh, Sherry, you are onto something huge. I've never seen anything hit the nail on the head so hard. And this was a salesperson who was selling their own AI generated powered app for spas, and it was like a sales AI powered receptionist tool, and they were doing a sales sequence, and he used it and tested it out, and the output was just really personal and one-to-one. And if you can achieve that, Troy, like, you can really connect with people. That's where the magic happens.
Thanks. Yeah. So tell us about the screen here, Sherry.
Yeah. So here, this is actually the interface. So we're going to launch this. Gosh, it's in days now. And if you want, I think I dropped my link. If you want to get early access to really the interface is kind of what you see at the top right of the screen. You're just going to go to the website, and it's just a landing page, and you simply put in your email that you maybe want improved. You put an email that you want to, that you have for a client that you want to make sure it's really good. I've had clients ask me, Sherry, can you check this before it goes live? And I'm just like, ooh, I wish I had a tool for that. So we created this. And so all you do is go in, you put in your email, you click the little orange button, and in 3 seconds, you will get an output. And what's amazing about this that you don't see on the screen is that not only will it fix the email and you get an output in 3 seconds, but here's the kicker. You also get the psychology of why and the rationale of how this email became improved at the bottom. So you're seeing you're seeing a whole summary. Right. So when I talk about behavioral science, when I talk about buyer psychology, how we think and act, this is not kept a secret. You guys are actually able to see the bullets of the techniques that were used to improve the emotional connection in your email. And you're welcome to use that for the next email and have that education as well. Yeah. So we're doing two value points.
If someone knows how it's done to a certain extent, they can start restructuring their emails moving forward to push it even further. Yeah. So you had the advantage.
Yeah, that's why this is so cool.
So you had the advantage of working with HubSpot and having thousands and thousands of email versus the other people like this spa. They couldn't get a better result because they didn't have enough data input. They didn't have
testing.
They didn't have the raw data to see. Oh, this works. This doesn't. And so they don't have the ability to remove the bias. Because when you're creating something, I think this works. And then you have had the experience say, "Oh, I know this works," because X amount of
Right.
percentage of people
Big
are
difference.
selling higher on this email. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Huge difference.
Yeah. You nailed it. That's exactly right. Yeah, and it was funny because like, do I should not sit on this. I do not want to keep this a secret. It needs to be out there, and we will put on there exactly what we're using to improve your emails, just so we can increase the competency of our communication in
Mhm.
B2B, so that we can combat this AI fluffy world where everything sounds generic. We need to rise above and start really connecting. And I'm not saying get rid of AI. I'm just saying let's do AI
Yeah.
better. This right
Yeah.
here is
Well,
AI better.
I
And
do
I'm really
think
proud of it.
one of
Yeah.
the challenges is that um, because I'm probably either the age or a little older than most of the audience, so I remember. So I was talking to a woman and she says, "Yeah, da, da, da," and they're talking about cars. My boyfriend had to call AAA to remove to fix the tire. I'm like, "What do you mean?" Like, I didn't understand what they're talking about. I said, "Why can't your boyfriend change the tire?" "Oh, he doesn't know how." And I'm like, "What?" And I had to think, like, I didn't know any man that didn't know how to change a tire, but now it's most men, of a certain age, younger ages, they're never taught that, right? And so I think the big
Mhm.
disconnect with AI is that we have so many processes that are automatic, they lose the ability to start thinking. And so what people need is they need to understand how to connect the dots, how to do critical thinking. If you're able to do critical
Yeah.
thinking, then you can apply
Yeah.
AI. And so most people uses
Yeah.
AI like Google. They'll type in a question, get an answer, and boom, that's it. I don't want to say they're lazy, but I think the society is a little lazy. So what your tool does, it gives you hints on how it was improved. So it gives them a place to start. And that's a big deal.
There you
Yeah.
go. I love that. That it does. Yeah. And hopefully they have value. And I believe in marketing, and I've always had this methodology. You give value before you
Mhm.
extract value. And so if they can learn a little bit about how this is improved and some techniques and have some bullets, and they can screenshot that and share that with their team, then they'll remember someone who's helped them. Oh, that girl who used to work at HubSpot. Yeah, she taught us about this. What else does she have? Or what else we can learn from her. So I love just sharing this in a way that helps people. And again, it is for me something where I embrace AI, but I do it in a way that allows people to create stronger connections, not repel them because it sounds too generic or AI fluff and things like that. So there's a better way. I'm glad we're talking about some of these techniques
Awesome.
today.
Let me
So,
know when you want
yeah.
me to go to the next screen.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it. Yeah, I think that's about it though. I mean, we basically yeah, so okay, so in general, just to kind of give a wrap this up, if one tool could fix your emails without making you sound robotic, this is it. It's been looked over by some of like the countries like best known social media influencers. We've had people who are just starting their business, who are scaling their business and growing their team. They looked at this and like, okay, wow, this is really cool. And it's because it's engineered for conversion. It's not engineered for grammar, and it's not engineered for just having shortening your copy. It is engineered to convert. I'm a demand marketer, and it's important for us to grow our businesses and how we use our messages to drive conversions. Second of all, it's made by a real marketer. Like you said, Troy, I did this. We tested it. There's a tool. There's a behavioral science technique that is right in the tool that you'll probably see if you use it. Like it's an interesting word. It's called Obscene Kina. I
It
used it at
sounds like you're just
HubSpot,
making it up.
and then yeah, I know it's a real principle. I promise. But I used it. I got results. It helped me build one of the top performing automated emails campaigns at HubSpot, and we're using it in this tool.
Nice.
Okay, and so like it's powerful. So it's built by a real marketer. It fixes messages, not grammar, and it gives you instant output. You'll wait a couple of seconds and you're going to get a payoff. How many of us know like it's just gratifying to get something right away? And it's free initially and it's accessible. You can just go and use it. We are launching really soon. I'm giving updates at least weekly to my subscribers. So so they'll be the first ones to start using the tool. I'll be like asking for, what do you think? But so far it's been amazing. And it's what we believe helps people drive conversions. Super excited to kind of share that with the world and share it
Very
here.
nice. What's your hard date for release?
It's funny. So we wanted to release this month, and I'm not going to give a specific date yet. That's why I said
you see
I
that?
will be giving
My
all
type
those,
A personality
all the
comes out.
secrets.
It's very scary.
If you want the exact dates, you've got to sign up for the news. Yeah, that's okay, Troy. But actually, it's a great question. If you want the exact dates, if you want some of the supplemental resources that goes with it, there's a course that goes with it, then definitely sign up to the newsletter. I give those folks my secrets. That's my tribe. Come in there, and you'll know exactly when we're launching going forward. You will be the first to use it. And if you need additional help, we'll be giving you how to fix your subject line and how to fix your PS, which is exciting as well. So some people don't even have a PS. That is a huge conversion opportunity in your email, the PS. And most people forget it. I'm going to teach you what to do. That is prime time space right there. How to fix your emails with your PS. Yeah. So all of that is available to you. Join the list, and I'll see you.
You know what? On the text there, I put, here's my newsletter for the early. Well, that's really her newsletter. I just copied and pasted her text. I put it in there.
It's okay. They get it.
I think people know that you didn't do fix my email. I think they know.
Yeah, I just want to be real clear. I'll fix the text afterwards and everything. But the funny thing is, it looks like both of us are kind of on a similar path. And it was funny, about a month ago, I was talking to my guys and the developers, and I said, you know what? This is great that you have content, but it really sucks, guys. I said, well, you have to put a prompt. I said, well, not many people know how to do a prompt, but some people like me know how to create content, and I would love to learn how to use AI prompts a lot better, and I definitely will, but I already have a ton of content. So you're doing, and I was scolding them politely, but I'm so blunt. So forgive me. I don't mean to sound like an a-hole, but I was telling them, because you got to be real direct with the developers. They're like, oh yeah, I get it. So guys don't really take it that bad, but I said, why are we going to do the same thing everyone else is and just hook it to a prompt? I know it's a great added feature, but you shouldn't add a feature unless it actually solves something. If you don't add a feature that actually solves a problem, you're just adding fluff, right? And people hate fluff. They want to get down to the nitty gritty. That's why we come up with the sandwich method. 3 lines of text, 30-second video, and title the video with their name in it. That sandwich is a formula that converts, because they can, oh, I know what this is. Oh, it's a video. Oh, it's actual real person. Oh, they're talking about me. You're moving them along the decision tree to click it. And so you have to do these micro decisions along with it. I said, you know what? You should scan my LinkedIn profile and my content. So the profile, and then run a disc on it. Does everyone know what disc is? Probably not.
You might need to explain.
How about you, Tammy? You want to explain what disc is?
Well, disc is a way of determining how your personality presents itself.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is something that allows you to change the voice that you're writing in, so it's more in line with who you are. It helps people also in terms of just simply going out and figuring out what profession they want to go into. Because
there's 4 letters for disc, definitely.
DISC. And the thing of it is that if you decide, hey, that looks really interesting, you go try it out, you might hate it, and you might not know why. This is something that a lot of employers use to figure out, is this person that's applying for a job really going to thrive in this position?
Yeah, so when you run a DISC stands for dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientiousness. conscientiousness. I can't. I'm a
Conscientiousness.
little impaired today for some reason, but it stands for that. And then so you're usually a little low, a little evident, moderately high, that sort of thing. So there's different levels of that, and it actually pulls out personality attributes like your likes, dislikes, interested topics, tone and voice, communication style, and that sort of thing. And so what I asked my developers was run a disk, scan the profile, and then scan my content. And by doing that, it's not only mimicking or cloning my tone and my style, but it's actually adding some of my knowledge, on it. And that's so important because everyone as an expert may have a slightly different knowledge base, which is part of your brand, and so we just got it out not too long ago, and I actually love it. I love the fact that, I write something and it doesn't sound like I'm a robot, and you can also change the tone. But what happens if you post something, it's wrong? Because I think it's like 80% of the stuff is correct. But if you include your own brand stuff, you have to make changes based on your expertise. Say, for example, I want 7 tips on how to improve your LinkedIn profile, right? And it'll produce 7 tips, but if it doesn't have your knowledge base, it might not understand that the banner, I go top down, the banner is the biggest visual area of advertisement right there.
Yep.
And it's the first thing they see. And 70% of the profile is visual after they get to it, Anyway, I'm kind of rambling on right now. Feel free to register to the newsletter. And as soon as Fix My Email is out, I think you'll give a release of it. Is it a download? Is it an extension?
Yeah.
What is it?
No, you literally go to the website and put in your email. There's no, you don't have to sign up for an account or anything like that. There's not even gated at first. So like there's low friction here. It's low, like you just want you guys to get value right up front. And that's sort of how we're going to set it up. And then maybe we'll have a follow-up again and talk about what we're learning from it.
That would be awesome. And anyone wants a free copy of Scoop, let me know. I've also let my booking link, I put my booking link in the chat, or I should have put it in the chat. And if I haven't, I'll do that. Let me do that real quick. I said Talk Shop. Here it is. Yeah. So my booking link is actually in there. If you want a demo of Scoop or how to use it or how to use systems, definitely let me know. Hey, Tammy, didn't you want to talk about how LinkedIn profiles are SEO optimized? Since we're talking about Scoop and it's pulling data from that. And you also wanted to talk about a few other things. Since we have just a few minutes, I wanted you to have the tail end.
Well, honestly, this is one of the things you talk about the disc and you talk about writing your own voice and all of that. But what people don't understand when they're trying to market on LinkedIn is that a LinkedIn profile, just like any other web page, can be SEO optimized. But these days, the other thing is it needs to be AEO optimized also, which is answer engine optimized, which it means that you can rank in chat. ChatGPT can recommend you as the expert in your field when people go to chat rather than Google and type in who is the top expert on getting your voice to not sound robotic. Well, Sherry Otto should come up at the top, but if Sherry's site is not AEO optimized, it might not, simply because of the fact that the AI pulls the same way that Google pulls from the ranking system. So I offer free audits to anybody who wants a free audit in terms of their LinkedIn profile. And I'll tell you exactly what's wrong. And we can talk about fixing it. It's a little bit complicated. I don't have an app and I don't have a website about fixing it. We do it by hand at this point because I think it should be automated. I really do. And I'm working towards that. But right now I'm feeding information.
Well, you're solving a problem,
I'm solving a problem, but it would be nice to automate it so that people could run a scan on a more frequent basis, because again, this stuff is changing all the time.
Yeah, so it's AEO optimized.
AEO, answer engine optimized.
No,
Answer engine optimized. Got it. It's I had a meeting with someone not too long ago, just last week, and you know how you get those people, oh, we could do a better profile, help you out.
Yep.
Most of them don't even look at my profile. I have a pretty good profile. I'll be bluntly honest, but on this one meeting, there's always room for improvement. So you may be an expert in that area, but sometimes we get tunnel vision, right?
Yeah.
And they pointed out two things that was actually pretty important. LinkedIn has the ability to do 3 banners and slide over, right? So I tried that.
Yeah.
I think it's awful because no one can read it, absorb it, and it slides over and it animates and it animates. It's like bleh, like too much, right? So if they just slowed it down or something, I said, but that's too much information. And so they told me to focus on the only thing that's important. I thought I was doing it, but when they brought it up, I noticed, oh, you know what? They have a point. And so I removed it to 1 banner, but I redid the banner to be super clear on the problem that I'm solving and nothing else. And so nothing else that's distracting. The other thing they said, hey, on your, what is that section on your profile? The showcase. Is it showcase?
The about section or the feature section?
Feature section. I love featuring different things, but that's just me. Yep. And I have to realize that most people don't think like me.
It's true.
And that is true, right? But so in the feature section, the suggestion was put that one thing on it again. Screw everything else. Put that one thing so they can focus, because there is such thing as information overload. So I can process a lot of information at one time, but I'm very unusual. So why should I do it my way and lose out on everyone because they're so confused? So now I have one featured section, and that's on my Plus program, my 90-day, my larger multi-channel offering, because that is the most important thing. Because from the larger program, if they say, oh, I just need LinkedIn a live event management, that's a component. We can take a component out, right? If I need a profile audit, Tammy and I could do that and redo that one component, But if you want everything, it's the Plus program. And so I always how do you say it? Open to criticism, because things change, and you have to, like this AEO stuff. That's fairly brand new.
It is pretty brand new. Most people don't know what it stands for, but if you ever run a chat, if you go to ChatGPT and ask it to bring you something, and it starts citing sources, what you'll see is it pulls from Wikipedia, Quora, Reddit. It's not pulling from Google. And so this is why it's answer engine. It's reading the comments and it's gathering information from other sites. So when you SEO your profile, which most people don't even realize that they can SEO their LinkedIn profile, but yes, you definitely can and should. But if you don't also add in AEO, you're missing a huge segment that now is going to overtake SEO very, very quickly. Yeah. Look at AI. This is going to overtake typical SEO. And you're going to lose out.
Yeah, the market shifting.
That's amazing.
And it has to be done a completely different way.
Tammy,
it's not.
Tammy, I think we need to talk about this. I think this needs to be its own show, Tammy. Like, this is really important. Yeah.
I am perfectly happy to talk, Sherry. We can
let's connect offline. I'd love to keep learning.
But it's one of those things that it requires a little bit more than SEO, because SEO is about keywords, whereas AEO is actually a bit more. Seriously, there's outside assets that need to be created in order to actually correctly do AEO.
Well, I'll say one thing about the SEO stuff. LinkedIn generally will pair you up with people like you, not like your customers. That's a big issue, right? And so in order to fight that, you tend to want to, and I'll put Tammy's link in there as well in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy. It's not a sales call. It's literally about, let's look at your profile and I can give you suggestions. What I see is wrong. I'm not an app and I'm not a computer program. So you end up talking to me.
I think that's great. Thank you. I'm gonna take you up on this. And then also I think for myself as well, but I think my network and my subscribers would love something like this too.
That link is all about getting information. So I have no problem with that link going everywhere, and I'm happy to talk to people about this. It's a short conversation. I put it at 30 minutes, but I mean, we can only take 15 if people only want to do that. I have a pretty set standard way of doing it, and that works. And the other thing is SEO can take months and months of trying to hit it right. AEO can literally change you in 3 or 4 days if it's hit right. It just depends on how it lands, but it's AI speed.
Yeah, I would say this. I don't mean to wrap this up because we're over time right now. But one thing you can do for SEO is on your past titles for your. I'm just giving you a tip here.
Yeah.
On your company titles for your past jobs, write in your target market in there. Write in the title, because that way LinkedIn will read part of that, of course, the about section and your title and all that stuff, and it'll lean you towards whatever you're talking about. And the more that you mention your ICP, your ideal client prospect, it will start pairing you up with that. The next
AEO,
event.
Just one tip on AEO, if you want just something to do right away. One of the things it picks up on is if you put in known for. That's its phrase. Known for. So you want to work that into even your headline, that little line right underneath your name. You want to work that in that headline. And that's a first step right there.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Well, I have the next event on there. I had an interview, and we're talking about LinkedIn business tips for sales. And so I have an interview next week, and the link's right in the chat. Sherry Otto and Tammy Kriya, I want to thank you both for adding such great information. Sherry, I'm very excited about your platform and your software. And if I can help in any other way, just let me know. I love seeing things. And this actually sparked an idea in my head. I said, you know what? I should interview other SaaS people that are producing software that makes a difference, And I think it's very interesting.
Sure.
I don't know, maybe just me because I'm the nerd.
No,
but
I find it fascinating.
I think people want to know what's happening and how to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Do it.
Thank you, everyone. Go ahead and drop off now.
Thank you. Bye.